What's up, boys? Tricks Ridiculous back with another video, and you saw it in the thumbnail. Spider-Man is definitely going to be revealed very, very soon. I'm 100% confident in it. Gonna go through kind of what to expect. Before we do, be sure to like and subscribe if you like this type of video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So, Crystal Dynamics has announced that they will be coming out with the updated roadmap on Wednesday the 8th. That roadmap will be for the rest of 2021. So we're probably going to see, similar to the roadmap that we previously got, we're going to be seeing kind of what's going forward for the next few months until the end of year. And then there is also a PlayStation showcase, coincidentally, the very next day, Thursday the 9th of September. So that will be coming out as well. Now, what are my predictions for this? Well, I think the obvious one is Spider-Man, right? I think it's 100% confirmed that Spider-Man will be on the roadmap, and we'll be seeing at least a cinematic trailer of Spider-Man very, very shortly. So why do I think this? Well, we have a couple of confirming factors. The first one is the Rogue developer. I forget his name off the top of my head, but there was a developer who went on the FKNA podcast and kind of went rogue, revealed that Spider-Man was their end of year release. He, at the time he said he thought that it was already, public information. It was not public information. So I think that was a little bit of a slip up. I don't think, just watching that clip back, I don't think he was, misdirecting us or teasing us. And then the other piece of it is Paul Tassi. So, Paul Tassi, he writes for Forbes. He covers games like Destiny, Avengers, other looter shooter type games. And he, as part of his Black Panther War for Wakanda review, he does mention in that article that when he did press the developers for a Spider-Man release, they did guarantee with him that Spider-Man was 2021, 100% confirmed. It will be coming out by hook or by crook. They will get a Spider-Man release out in 2021. So, my prediction, obviously I don't know, the inner workings of the studio, but my prediction is that Spider-Man itself, as a deal with Sony, the deal was that Crystal Dynamics had to release Spider-Man in 2021. When the game originally released, Spider-Man was marketed as coming to the game early 2021. I am willing to bet that there's something in the clause in the contract that says that Crystal Dynamics must hold up their end of the bargain and release him sometime in 2021, or they'll be kind of out of compliance with their contract. So definitely that's what I think is going on, and that's why I think it's not going to wait any later for Spider-Man than 2021. I don't see him going into 2022. I think 100% he will be on the roadmap. And then likewise, if they put his picture on a roadmap, of course we're going to want to see some gameplay, and I think that that's what we will get at the PlayStation showcase Thursday the 9th. I think they're going to show, even if it's just a very cinematic trailer, maybe something like like they did for Black Panther, kind of that cinematic of him, jumping in, or even like what they did for Hawkeye way back when, or Kate Bishop, any of those kind of cinematic non-gameplay trailers. I think at the very least, that's what we get. But either way, very excited for Spider-Man. Now, what else do I think is going to be on that roadmap? Well, obviously, it's only a few days away, and if you're watching this later, you'll have already seen the roadmap. But I do think we're going to get the Omega level threat that is going to take place in Wakanda. I think that's kind of a given. The story for Wakanda is kind of, being told over the course of what you could call a season, right? Similar to when Hawkeye came out. Really, the Cosmic Cube event with Monica was kind of the conclusion to the Hawkeye story, so it was being told over the course of several months. Some people like that, some people don't. I'm not going to get into that, but I think there's definitely more to come in Wakanda with Black Panther. It's definitely a good jump off point for future content. There's a lot more that they could do with the world, with the area, with the hub, right? There's a lot more that can kind of go on in Wakanda and reasons to come back to Wakanda. So I definitely think that the Omega level threat in Wakanda will be coming. Now, is that the raid? I don't know. People throw the word raid around a lot. Crystal Dynamics has never said the word raid, other than the fact that they said, stuff that they would consider traditional raid-like content is coming in the future, but they're not going to call it raid. They're not going to use the word raid. So raid is always just something the community has thrown around. They have not confirmed anything which way or the other. The other thing I think we'll see on the roadmap is patrol mode. You may remember patrol mode was on the original roadmap that they released. However, they actually cut it in favor of the Omega level threat family reunion. That's the super adaptoid fight. And they said that the patrol mode was still cooking. They weren't quite ready for it yet. They wanted to give it a little more time in the oven, which I'm totally okay with. I think patrol mode has the potential to be one of the best modes in the game. I think the way they were kind of advertising it at first looked a little bit limited. We know that we can still only have 4 players. You're not going to be able to bump into other squads out in the open world. So that is a major hamper on any type of patrol type activity or open world type activity. You got to be able to bump into other people out in the world. Otherwise, what are you doing? So I definitely am okay with them putting that back in the oven, trying to figure that stuff out, and really coming back to us with a more fleshed out mode, because I think that could be one of the better modes in the game. But I think we'll probably see something on the roadmap, even if it's just like a tester version. Probably still going to be that Wasteland Patrol, because they were working on that. I don't think we'll see Wakanda Patrol yet. I think it's better if they do the Wasteland first, just because that area kind of sucks anyway. So let them kind of test out patrol mode there, see if it's a hit, see if it's a flop, and then learn their lesson of what works and what doesn't, and then improve it for when it finally comes to Wakanda. That would be my preference. Now, what are the maybes, right? What might we see on this roadmap? Well, I think a couple of them. I think cloning labs, the mythical cloning labs, the thing that was supposed to be released 11 months ago. I think that is something we could potentially see. Along with that, a level cap increase. We know a level cap increase is coming. We don't really know much more than that. It's very possible that it comes with either the cloning labs or with the Omega level threat in Wakanda when either of those do come out. But we're not really sure. But we think it's going to be to 160. And then we do believe that it has been confirmed. It's not that we believe. It has been confirmed by Phil that you will be able to take your current gear and raise it to the max cap. We don't know if it's going to cost a ton of resources or what that's going to take, but it will happen. It will be doable. So we'll see. You'll definitely still be able to take your stuff forward, but the level cap is getting raised one way or the other. It's possible it'll be before end of year. And then cosmetic rework. So the cosmetic rework was something that, was kind of it's been going on for 8 months now. It is confirmed. The developers specifically have tweeted out that they are working on it. It is a real thing. So I think it could be on the roadmap. I think we might have to wait a little bit more. It's definitely a maybe item. And it actually would go kind of perfectly with the next item that I'm about to identify, and that is the move to completely free to play. That's right. I know that's a little bit of a controversial item, but I think the game is very likely to move to a completely free to play model. We saw during the free to play weekend, the numbers absolutely spiked. Still not to the level of when the game first came out, but a lot of people were definitely trying the game, checking the game out. I think it's the only way the game really moves forward. We already know that cosmetic microtransactions are the way of this game. And, all DLC is free moving forward. I really don't see, people 6 months from now, a year from now, picking this game up off the shelf at GameStop for $30, for $25, hell, even $20. I still think it's a good deal at those prices, even just for the story alone. But it's very clear that selling new copies of this game off the shelf is not a profitable model for Crystal Dynamics, especially at the price that the game currently is. I think it's a much better business decision for them to make the game completely free. They'll 10x their player base, and then they'll just continue to sell cosmetic microtransactions. Their most premium microtransactions are already $14, so that's already half the price of the game at retail right now. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's definitely something that happens. I'm willing to bet, and this is another one kind of back to my Sony deal with Spiderman, legal, investigation, but I'm willing to bet because there are, if you go look this up there, I forget if it's Xbox or PlayStation, but one of them specifically has a very clear clause in their developer agreements for let's just say I think it might be Xbox. Let's just say Xbox Live, that if your game is going to go on, if you have a paid game and it goes on Xbox Live, it has to like remain there and remain functional for a minimum of 12 months. So I do believe there was probably a window where if they did move the game to free to play, they would have been forced to give anyone who requested one a refund for the game. But I think they're waiting to get past that window by the Xbox Live terms of service. Once they're past that window, they can probably make the game free to play, move it to that free to play model, and they won't owe anybody a refund. So I'm willing to bet that they are strongly considering free to play, but they need to move outside that window. And I think, like I said, with a cosmetic rework, we're already starting to see bundles. We're starting to see other things. I think if they really like ramp up the cosmetics and move the game to free to play, I think it'll be fine for the game. I mean, there's no difference right now. If you're someone who already bought the game, if you bought it a year ago for $60 or you bought it just yesterday for $30, I mean, there's nothing like that really hurts you now if the game goes to free to play. It's only helpful, it's only beneficial for the game. It'll get more players in, you'll have easier matchmaking, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's a no-brainer. I think that's what happens. So anyway, that's all I've got. Other things I'd like to see. I'd like to see something outside of Spider-Man character-wise or story-wise. I don't think Spider-Man is going to be a major impact on the main campaign, the main story of the game, because of course he's PlayStation exclusive, unfortunately. I know it sucks, but there's nothing you or I can do about it. But because of that, I don't think that he's going to have a major impact. I think he's very much going to be like a side story, a side operation, so that it doesn't completely contradict like what's going on PC and Xbox. And of course, like I said, I would like to see something come out, simultaneously with Spider-Man, so that we can potentially get something for the Xbox and PlayStation crew, obviously in addition to PlayStation, but that they're not, they don't see all these PlayStation players getting Spider-Man in a game that's already so starved for content. That would be really unfortunate, but it's very possible that that's going to be the case. We'll have to wait till the roadmap. But either way, really excited to see the future of this game. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think you'd like to see down in the comments. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more of these videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.